How many of you have ever been involved with or exposed to home-based business? Excellent, almost everybody in the room. Now, you guys tell me, overall, is the image of the industry, a massive success for most people, or less than the desired or hoped for results?
Less than.
Can we agree less than?
Yeah.
The reason I bring that up is the industry, I've been doing this for 21 years. I personally have had a lot of success. It's been a lot of fun for me. But the reality is, in my 20 plus years in this industry, I can tell you that across the board, not one company, but across the industry of home-based business, 9 out of 10 people fail and lose their investment. Now, whether your investment's $50, $500, or $5,000, who would agree those are not good odds?
Yeah.
Who would agree that something must be wrong if 9 out of 10 people fail and lose their investment? If there was an opportunity that could go out there and clean that up, do you think that might be worth looking into?
Yeah.
Well, our company, North American Power, is involved in energy. And for those of you looking at us for the very first time and those of you watching on the DVD, we are in a situation where the country is not completely deregulated, meaning the energy deregulation is in its infancy stages. And when I say in its infancy stages, I'm talking about day one, about 4 o'clock in the morning. There are a handful of states that have deregulated, and of those, we'll call it between 10 and 20, a dozen or so, there's still only a handful that are really viable that have deregulated and become friendly to competition. Well, that leaves us more than half of the United States in a situation where you don't have the freedom to choose who you're going to have for your residential electricity and natural gas. And our company is the only one of its kind. I'm going to say that again. The only company out there that can offer anyone in all 50 states, regardless of who your residential electricity is with, the chance to participate and profit in energy deregulation. Who likes the sound of that?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to throw a couple of buzzwords out at you, and I'm going to kind of explain why. But number one is timing. Who thinks timing might be important in life?
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is, we all have made the mistake of saying, man, I just wish I could be in the right place at the right time just one time. Who's ever said that? You just wish, just once you were in the right place at the right time, you'd be set for life. Anybody in that mindset? Well, would it offend anybody to find out that you've probably been in the right place at the right time dozens and dozens and dozens of times? Dozens of times. But didn't know enough to see and take advantage. And the reason I say that is we all get caught up in that. I'm going to hit you guys with something, and I want you to be very honest with me. How many of you bought Google stock the day it came out? Who wishes that they did? Okay, good. Now the reason I say that is Google has had a pretty good run, right?
Yeah.
Who bought Google stock yesterday? So we didn't buy it the day it came out. Why? Honestly.
Didn't know.
Who thought it was a little pricey? Right? It was expensive.
Yes.
Well, what was it yesterday?
Way more.
A lot more expensive. So was it a good stock buy?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we didn't buy it because we didn't what?
No enough about it.
We didn't know enough. We did not have enough information to know enough to see the opportunity and take advantage of it. Here's how I'll prove it to you. If I could put you in a time capsule and send you back 20 years, with all the knowledge you have right now, with all the knowledge and information you have right now today, how many of you would be counting down the day, listening for that announcement that Google's going to go public, and you'd buy yourself as much Google as you could? How many of you would eat ramen noodles for like 2 years? Who knows what I'm talking about? Who's ever been strapped enough that ramen noodles became a staple in your diet? It's college food. It's 20 cents for a little pack if you buy them in bulk. Now, it sounds silly, but how much money could you save if you said, hey, honey, we're eating ramen noodles for the next 2 years because we're buying us some Google stock, and you just saved up every penny you could? Would it be a good idea?
Sure.
So if you could go back in time, you absolutely, without question, would position yourself to buy Google stock, right?
Yes.
What is the only difference? Wouldn't it be just as expensive the second time around?
Sure.
So why would you buy it? You get enough information to know that, yeah, it's expensive today, but woo, it's going to be a nice ride for the next couple of years, right? So the difference is we all were there, we all had the opportunity, we were all in the right place at the right time, but we didn't have enough information to know enough to take advantage. Would you guys all agree with that?
Sure.
Well, here's the bad news. I am going to steal from you right now the opportunity to ever say that again. You'll never be able to complain to your kids and your grandkids that you never had a chance, that you never were in the right place at the right time. You never had the chance to be in that position and take advantage of an opportunity. Here's why I'm telling you I'm going to steal that from you. Because you're sitting right now in the right place at the right time to take advantage of the next big thing. And I'm going to give you that information. I'm going to share with you why our opportunity in home-based business is different than anything else you've ever been exposed to. You decide if it's better, and you decide if it's good enough that you want to participate. So whether you do or you don't is up to you. But I promise you, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now, you will either be somebody that says, I'm glad I did, or I wish I had. If you fall into that second category, how sad will that be? We already admitted we missed Google, right? Now, how sad would it be if someone said, buy Google. This is what it's going to do. I'm from the future. Right? Could you imagine if someone did that and then literally it did exactly what that guy said? Who'd be like really upset? I'm not from the future. But what I'm about to share with you is going to have a massive impact. The reason I say that is the timing is perfect for a number of reasons. Economy. Who would agree right now in this economy there are some people that have been damaged the last 3, 4, 5 years? I'm not making fun, but the bottom line is, who thinks unemployment is out of control in this country? God bless you. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat does not matter to me. Who would agree that both sides of the aisle are struggling to solve unemployment?
Yes.
Who would agree they probably still don't have an answer for it?
Yes.
Will it or will it not be a huge part of the 2012 election?
Yes.
Unemployment, right? I'm going to ask you guys honestly. In this country, beyond the economy being bad, beyond unemployment being at an all-time high and frustrating people, who would agree with me that in our country today, job creation is a big deal?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a silly question. How many of you in this room have been frustrated for decades at jobs being outsourced overseas to Europe, down to Mexico, to India? Who's been frustrated about that? Okay, good. So we've been angry about it. We've been frustrated. What is our mechanism to fix that?
Create jobs.
Sounds good, but who's creating jobs here to solve that problem? Right now, nobody, right? Isn't that part of the big issue going on with unemployment? We're losing jobs. Okay, here's another big question. How many of you get frustrated every single time you have to go fill up your gas tank at the gas station?
Oh, yeah.
Now, seriously, how many of you guys get excited at the price of gas? Anybody? So can we agree that folks are frustrated every time they look at the price of gas?
Yes.
The reason I bring that up is, can we agree that everybody's frustrated about that?
Yes.
What's the mechanism to fix that?
Lower the price. Stop consuming it.
Sounds great. People, oh, ride bikes. How many of you guys have figured out that America is not going to hop on a bicycle and boycott gasoline? We'll be angry, but what will we do each week anyway? Angrily fill up the tank, right? So we can be as upset as we want about it, but it's not changing anytime soon. At least I don't believe it. Well, I won't say I know for sure, but I've been hearing the bicycle thing for quite some time and don't see a whole lot of fit people riding around on their bikes. See a bunch of overweight people driving, where they could be riding a bike, but they don't have to. The bottom line is, we got some issues in this country right now that are timely. Is that fair?
Yes.
Now, because next year is an election year, we're going to hear a lot about job creation, we're going to hear a lot about unemployment, we're going to hear a lot about energy independence. But if I could share with you right now an opportunity that you could get started in a home-based business on a shoestring, for real, on a shoestring, and you could create financial independence for yourself. So I'm talking about a personal economic recovery. Who likes the sound of that?
Yeah.
I'm talking about average folks being able to go out there, and reach financial stability. Would that be a good thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that something you could get excited about?
Yes.
But more importantly, with a cause that would create jobs in the United States of America that cannot be outsourced ever. Who
Yeah.
likes the sound of that? Is that a cause that you could get behind?
Yes.
And a company who is going to help create energy independence for the United States, meaning we currently spend a fortune buying oil from the Middle East, yes?
Yes.
What is the price of oil to our economy? When the cost for a barrel of oil is up, what does that mean to us? Everything else goes up. And if the price of oil were to go down, it would give a little break to everything, right?
Yeah.
So energy independence. Right now the United States spends $1 trillion plus buying foreign oil. And our company has a goal and a plan to reduce our burden on foreign oil. Does that sound like a cause that you could get behind?
Yes.
The reason for that is if we could reduce the burden on foreign oil, it's simple economics, supply and demand. If the demand goes down and the supply stays the same, what happens to the price?
Goes down.
If the price of a barrel of oil goes down for the United States, what happens to everything else? Who thinks that might make for a better future for our families, for our kids?
Yeah.
So North American Power has a solution for your personal economic recovery. Jobs created in the U.S. that can't be outsourced, and energy independence. That's what we're going to talk about. Now, that's the timing. That's what you have in front of you. Let's talk a little bit about the company, because this, I can't take credit for this. This is something far beyond my scope of understanding and expertise. But North American Power was put together by what I like to say a genius. How many of you guys have ever seriously met somebody that was a genius? And I don't throw that term around loosely, and he'd get mad if he was here because he doesn't like me talking about him that way. But this is an individual that has the vision to see things before they're there. Like for instance, how many of you guys would agree that I have a purple marker in my hand?
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that take vision or is that just simple sight? Okay, well this is an individual that can see stuff before it's there. And here's how I'll validate it. Who in this room has heard of the oil derivatives market? I couldn't have done a good job of explaining that for $1 million. But what I can tell you is that when you're watching CNN headline news or you're watching Fox News and they're talking about our economy, what do they always reference?
Oil.
The price of oil. Price of oil affects everything. Well, when they're talking about the price of oil, they're talking about the trading value, right? They're talking about what the cost is. Who's heard the term options and swaps?
Yes.
Who has no idea really what they mean, but they've heard it? I'm not making fun, guys. That was me. I'm not trying to claim to be a genius. But what I can tell you is that when it comes to that market, it's called the oil derivatives market. Has anybody ever heard of the oil derivatives market? It is the most heavily traded commodity in the world. It trades in the trillions of dollars. So can we agree that that's pretty substantial?
Yeah.
Well, the oil derivatives market began in the early to mid 90s because the CEO of North American Power saw something before anyone else. And he had a big part in the creation and development and the evolution of the oil derivatives market. Who would agree that's a pretty special individual?
Yeah.
To give you an idea of how special he is, not only was he there ground floor and saw it before anybody else, he had no competition trading in oil derivatives for 2 years. Who would agree that's a substantial head start? People go, what's he doing over there? I don't know, leave him alone. So he's trading in the beginning stages for 2 years with no competition. When he sold his company in 2005, his company was still the largest broker of oil derivatives in the world. Who would agree that not only did he have a head start, but he managed to capitalize on the head start? That's the individual who happens to be the CEO and the founder of North American Power. So does he qualify as an individual that can see stuff before anybody else?
Yes.
Okay, well.